Hey everyone, and welcome back to a new video. Yeah, everything that we've done so far was about data analysis, exploratory data analysis, how to clean data, how to do data visualization, all about ADA, which is definitely crucial for every data science work. But today, let's dive into probably one of the most talked about topics in the last 10, 15 years, at least in science, engineering, and in data science or in research, which is machine learning. So, to talk about machine learning, it's all about letting the computer learn on its own instead of always feeding the computer so many instructions so it kind of overloads the number of instruction that it's going to read every time. So it's all about learning the computer how to think on its own, how to operate on its own, and this is where the connection with the human brain comes into play. The human brain has been recognized, has been famous for having at least 1,000 of ideas every 5 minutes. And machine learning is all about kind of getting close to that type of behavior that the human brain does have. Um, yeah, so we can never talk about machine learning without talking about artificial intelligence or AI. AI is, again, as I was talking about the human brain, AI is all about the imitation of a human brain, you know, the reasoning of a human brain, the self-learning of a human brain, the self-correction of a human brain, whatever the human brain can do on its own, artificial intelligence is the process that will create a new sort of intelligence to a computer so a computer can start thinking like a human brain, reasoning like a human brain, self-correcting itself like a human brain does, like an actual human does. As a human, we don't actually need to have a set of instructions to take decision, but typically a computer does have to have a set of instruction before operating or before taking action. But as human, we're famous to be free. We're famous to have um, freedom of thought, freedom of idea, and AI is all about letting the computer imitate a human brain, so it kind of does the same thing that someone like a real person is doing. Before even we dive into machine learning again, we need to understand what was there before machine learning or artificial intelligence. It was a sort of traditional programming. Exactly. So let's say 20 years ago, let's say you were working on a program or that was maybe letting a users know which number they choose is odd or even number. So maybe you were working on a sort of like web app where whenever users would pick a number and then it would output if that number will be even or odd. Maybe you have a set of numbers like 2, 4, 6, 8. We know those are even numbers, but a computer does not know. So you definitely need to like write a program that would teach a computer, okay, to define an odd number, if that odd number is divided, if it's divisible by 2, it's even. If it's not, it's 1, something like that. A computer does not automatically know that like 4, for instance, is even number or 3 is an odd number. You have to write a set of instruction and then give it data and a set of instructions so the model generates an output every time. So with that type of traditional programming, every time a user now comes and use your web app or your program and then the type maybe 8, the model, the computer is just like taking that 8 and then it's just kind of like using those set of instruction from your program, and then from that result it's probably telling you if 8 is even an odd number. But with machine learning, scientists wanted to do something a little different. Scientists wanted to let the computer learn everything on its own instead of like giving all those instruction every time. So instead of writing all those instruction, you would give it data to the model, to the computer, and you will give the particular output for those data. For instance, we know 4 is even number. So you give 4 and then you give the output of 4, which is even number. to the computer. You do the same for 6, 8. You do the same for 1, 3, 7, 9. So the idea here is we want to let the computer like identify some sort of patterns into like what makes a number odd or what makes a number even, so that when it's a new number that the user types into as an input, maybe like 15, the model does not have, or your computer does not know or does not have any instruction to like determine if that is an odd or even number, but based on the data and the patterns that it got from the data, okay, it's looking at, okay, maybe 1, 3, 7, 9, 11 are even numbers. So maybe there's a pattern. Maybe there's like a jump of one every time to determine an even or odd number. And this is the type of pattern that the computer learn on its own. And it's telling you, okay, 15 is odd number without even having looking at any sort of instruction or any sort of logic. This is the idea of machine learning, giving enough data so the computer can generate and learn from its own, from that data, create patterns, generate pattern. So next time when it's like a new input, it does not have to look at instruction. It knows a particular output. It knows what the answer will be, what the output will be, only based on whatever data is at and whatever patterns it was able to detect from the data. This is exactly what machine learning is doing, and this is the difference between the old traditional programming and the new machine learning model. And then, with that being said, what is machine learning? Then we've already talked about that. But the longer short is that machine learning is just a subset of AI or artificial intelligence that enables computers to learn from data and improve performance without being explicitly programmed. Exactly what I was talking about. It's not about writing so many instructions or if-else statement, but it's all about giving enough data to a computer so it's learn on its own. It identifies patterns. It creates output on its own. It does not have to know the reasoning or the particular output before. So, but it learns from historic data and then just generates output based on that. This is exactly what machine learning is, that learn from historic data, create your patterns, create its own ideas, create its own thought. So next time it tells you what the output is without even you looking at giving the model any sort of instruction. So this is the power of machine learning. Just like a short case scenario of machine learning versus traditional programming. In traditional programming, to detect if an email was a spam or not, we usually just write a program that maybe if someone is sending you an email and then if that email has some very specific word, like I don't know, it could be like you could write a program that says, okay, if somebody sends me an email and then that email has a specific word, I don't know, maybe like I don't know, maybe somebody's writing an email and then it's adding blacklisted keyword, you immediately consider that as a spam email because that email contains a particular word. But that's very limited. For instance, what if an email contains a particular blacklisted word and then it's an actual accurate email from someone who is trustworthy? What if that happens? There's no way for traditional programming to detect that type of spam versus actual email. But with machine learning, you kind of feed enough data into the machine learning model. So it does not have to know, okay, this is a spam folder, this is a spam word, this is a blacklisted word, this is not a blacklisted word, this is a keyword that we need to avoid, this is a keyword that we don't need to avoid. It just learns from, okay, you kind of give like 50 emails that are spam email and then 50 emails that are not spam email, that are actual email. And then the model kind of just learn the patterns of, you know, those spam email are sharing the same patterns or sharing the same word or sharing the same structure. And then actual email are sharing the same pattern and structure. So next time when someone is sending you an email, the model is not looking at keyword, not keyword. It's just looking at what pattern that email follows. Does it follow the pattern of a spam email or an actual email? And this is how the model detects if um, it's a spam email or not. You can see the power of that. You don't have to give a set of instruction. You don't have to give a long list of blacklists of keyword that sometimes will not even work out for your use case. Just give enough data so it learns on its own, and the next time it would know. It's exactly like a human. I'm pretty sure if I'm reading an email now, I would know if that email is a spam or not, just based on the experience that I've had in the past, reading actual email and reading spam email. It's all what machine learning is doing, imitating the human brain so it thinks like a human, acts like a human, and resonates like a human. Yeah, so this is all about machine learning. This is all what I have about machine learning now. It's an introduction, but with machine learning, computers have become so smart over the last few years. I can't even imagine. I can't even. I'm surprised by what computers are doing now. And, right now you just have to give a set of like prompt and then the computer is just like giving you outstanding output. But it all comes from, do you have enough data to train that computer? Do you have enough data to create that machine learning model? And it's what we'll be learning in the future. So thank you for everything. Thank you for being here and see you in the future.